Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I'm on Gower in Hollywood. And the significance of this is where all the bad stuff happened when I was 2 years old. It's right across the street. About to walk over there to that place right now. I don't know if that's the house anymore. Honestly, I don't remember exactly where that house was. I was literally 2 years old. But this is where it was, man. This is it. Right over there somewhere. Shouldn't step on that. I'm just gonna step around that. But yeah, this is where it is, man. Probably this house or that house. One of them two houses, I think, is probably it. That looked like it could be it. I don't remember the address. It was well. We left over this place. We got me out of that hellhole when I was probably like right before I stopped being 2 years old. But because it was such trauma that took place there, I actually never forgot it. There was a dog named Butch who lived over there. I think this is the house. I believe, well, where the house used to be. I don't think it's the same house. Or it's there where this building is. I'm not sure, but my gut is telling me it's here, somewhere in there. But there was a dog named Butch. Dog. Unfortunately, I actually watched him die. He had gotten attacked by another dog and we put him in the tub and he bled out in the tub. My very best friend, my first dog friend. That's what comes to mind when I walk over here first is Butch. We love you, Butch. Butch was an awesome dog. Really awesome. Protected the heck out of me, even though Connie used his feces to kind of smear all over the walls here in this area. I think this might be that. Pretend like I remember. It's somewhere in here somewhere. Or over there somewhere, but I don't remember it being directly across the street from the church. My mom and I used to go to that Presbyterian church too sometimes. It was a little different flavor from what we were used to, but we did spend quite a few Sundays there. When I was like 16, 17 years old, we kind of started going there a little bit, but yeah, this is where I went through the worst of my life. The worst traumatic experiences of my existence. At 2 years old, a lady by the name of Connie did some really bad things to me in this place. I don't know if it was this one. I think this must be the house next door. So my gut is telling me it's something like this house or something. And this looked like an old house. So maybe it was here. Maybe it was here. Something like that. It's, you know, it's hard to tell. I'm coming back here almost 38 years, 37 years later. But that's where it happened, man. This is where it happened. And, you know, as I find myself standing here, I just know that I had some good times here too. Celebrating my second birthday here. I still got pictures from that. You guys can probably check out 444, ironically enough, and you'll see some of those pictures. And then you'll have probably a better understanding of where this house was based on the proximity of some of those pictures. It might be able to actually tell you where what is what, because I'm off. I don't know. It could be a little further down the street. It could be over here, but I don't think it's past this 7-Eleven. So I don't think so. So it's that kind of, who really knows, but if I saw those pictures right now, I'd probably know. But this is where it happened, man. That woman did a lot of horrible things to me at a very young age, and I think it caught up to me in a way that still affects me to this day. It's why I believe my mental illness is as bad as it is. I also think some of my mental illness might be chemical, but she heightened it to a point where, you know, it is where it is today. And you know, I don't have any ill will toward her. I don't think she's alive anymore. I don't believe so. She was only 18 or 19 years older than me, 20 years older than me, so she could very well be alive. But I can tell you this. The way the story goes is not long after she did what she did, she stole some money from some people she should not have stole some money from. And in doing so, they beat her up real bad and then dragged her down the stairs and out the door. And from there, she was arrested and taken to jail for whatever the hell else she had done, not for what she did to me. I didn't tell my mom what she did to me till I was about 5 or 6 years old, and I did it at absolute random while my mom was cleaning the bathtub, and I just told my mom. I don't know what prompted me to tell my mom. I just told her. And Connie did this, that, this, that, this, that, and this, that. And my mom looked at me, and then she ran to the phone, and she didn't really even react. She just ran to the phone and called the lady who this apartment was leased out to or whatever. He said, "Where's Connie? Do you know Connie touched my son? Do you know Connie touched my son?" And it was like one of those situations where, for those who don't know, Connie was the babysitter's boyfriend's girlfriend. That's how that went. The babysitter's boyfriend's girlfriend. And essentially my mom trusted Christine, who the lady was, the babysitter, she was fine. She didn't have no bad energy or nothing. She was just a fool for Connie. Connie had that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. She could turn it on, turn it off at any time type stuff. She only acted crazy when she was left alone with the baby. Otherwise, she acted like somebody who was really, really wise, not wise, but really smart. Somebody you wouldn't trust with money. That type of thing. I think she stole some money from Christine too, the way the story told. But she was so capable of seeming sane that she was the girlfriend of this lady's son. But she was really a very demented human being with a demented mother as well. Her mother was sick too. And I remember one time she took me to her mother's house, and I remember she was holding me while her mother was just berating her with insults. Just calling her all kind of names, so I could see where that energy came from, why she was so messed up. But she took it out on me a lot of the time, I don't know why Christine left me with Connie, other than the fact she trusted Connie. I don't know where Christine would be going when she was paid to watch me. She would leave me with the boyfriend's girlfriend, and that would be how that went. It was rather irresponsible, I'd say, and it left me a lot of trauma. And it was one time when my mother took me here, and I told my mom to not leave me with Connie. Is Connie there? Don't leave me with Connie. And my mom, told me I got to go to work, baby. Obviously the way it went. And then I guess that was one of the worst of the days happened. So I think that's kind of when all that triggered in my head. It kind of made me the way I am. Not able to override my own defensive mechanisms, not convincing myself to go to work, can't convince myself to go to school throughout the course of certain points in my childhood, anxiety attacks and things of that nature. It all stemmed from where I'm standing or down the street, wherever the hell that place was. But and I can tell you that I don't feel any bad energy over here. Like I said, it was a lot of good energy. That dog alone was enough to make me have enough good memories, even though I would say that I was traumatized by his passing. I was more so appreciative of the dog itself. And how I remember all of this from 2 years old, I can't tell you. I don't know. But I do know that a lot of that stuff was very poignant. I remember the layout of the room. I remember what happened to me. I remember the various different things that she did that were crazy, including the dog-ish incident where she poured dog shit all over the room, rubbed it on the walls, rubbed it on my toys, rubbed it on different things. I don't know if, this is the part that I don't really remember. Did she put it in the fridge and pulled it out the fridge, or did she open the fridge and had it in her hand and tried to offer it to me like it was candy? The thing about it was, I was a smart enough child to know what crap was. So I was smart enough to know what it smelled like. Obviously, I had experience with it on my own, so it was like I knew that wasn't candy, and so I scurried away. But that's kind of how that went. She either pulled it out of the fridge or showed it to me or whatever. She did a lot of stuff, man. She showed me her period blood on her tampon. She touched on me in different ways that wasn't right. There's just a lot of stuff that happened here, man. A lot of stuff that was very traumatic to a 2-year-old, and so I've been open about that because I'm not ashamed of it. You know what I mean? I know people go through a lot in this life. Maybe I'm triggering you. Maybe you went through something horrible in your life, but for whatever reason, I'm wired to not care about sharing this. I share it with anybody. It's part of my story, and it made me who I am today, and some of the disadvantages I had, but also some of the apprehensions I would have about leaving my child with somebody if I were to have children. It ain't happening. Simply put, I wouldn't trust nobody, and that's the sad thing about it, is trust is what was robbed from me in that regard. But as I often say, God doesn't do things like that without having other things in mind. And just like I say about anything that you go through traumatic, it can also give you a relationship with God if you allow it to. And so that is also what my life is about. Just across the street, I worship. You know what I mean? So it ain't all bad in this neighborhood. This is where I'm from. And I used to come down this street every other day. I mean, it wasn't like I didn't have various different things that happened throughout the course of my life that would change the course of how this neighborhood is viewed. That 7-Eleven is a 7-Eleven I used to go through with my homeboy Samir all the time, and he lived in a couple blocks over, and that was like 10 years later. And as I said, that church I used to go through a lot. There's Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles about 2 blocks down on the left side of the street. My mom used to go there all the time. I remember we walked in there one time, saw Eddie Murphy, Magic Johnson, all of these dudes sitting at one table. I don't remember who else was there. Arsenio Hall, they were all sitting at one table. And we walked in there and saw them all. It was like a freaking movie, man. I had to be no older than 3, but I ain't forget that either. So it's like, these are the type of things that just happen. You grow up in Hollywood, and it's good. Just like any other neighborhood you grow up, it's good and bad. And for me, I'm standing in a space where it was quite a bit of trauma, man. Quite a bit of trauma. And, you know, I just wanted to come back here to kind of see how they looked in this side of town. Probably gonna walk down to my elementary school a little bit later, because since that's not too far away, I didn't go this side last time I showed y'all Hollywood. But yeah, I just wanted to come here, man. I don't know what was bringing me here, other than to say, you know, a lot of times people just come back to where they're familiar. You know, if nothing else, just come to where you know. This is where home is really for me. Not necessarily Lenox, not North Hollywood, not Wilshire. Nah, this is where home is. And it wasn't all good, man. It wasn't all good. I went through a lot of sad turmoil in this little area, but you know, it's just part of the story. You just got to tell the truth about what you go through if you can stomach to do so. And if you can't, don't worry about it. Not everybody's meant to tell the truth about what they go through. So maybe it's not for you to expose that truth, whatever it is. But for me, it definitely is. I think it may not have made me better, but I keep it together. You know, it is what it is. That sidewalk is closed, so I got to cross back over here to where the church is to leave. I think I will leave, you know what I mean? I'm good. I got what I wanted out of this neighborhood. Look down this street. I don't remember all this. I'll walk back here, see if I see anything familiar. Get a little vibe or two, I don't know. But, you know, I don't hold no ill will against Christine, the babysitter. I just think she was a bit irresponsible with the child. She didn't know that woman wasn't trustworthy. But, you know, back houses and stuff like this, I don't know if I remember it or not. I don't know if this is the right area or not. I don't remember. That's the problem. I don't remember any of that. Let's see if I remember, because I know it was a duplex. So that's why I think this is probably it. Front house, and then it was the back house, and this looks like this is probably it. Those two houses connected, and when some of the bad stuff would happen, I would scurry from one house to the next and kind of hang out with the Mexican kids who lived in this area here. You're gonna see some of their pictures in that 444 video, because they were there for my 2nd birthday party. But this is it. Yeah, this is what it is for me. This is where all the trauma took place. I think this is it. I'm pretty certain. It feels right. Feel right. And Butch was probably back here, but they had other stuff. I don't want to trespass on their property, but this feels right, you know. Feels like it was over here somewhere. This building wasn't here though. Obviously, this is a new building, but you know, I think it was the thing that's making me hesitant is the fact that there was some big stairs in the building I was in. It seemed like it was like a lead up stair area, so it might have been across the street. Honestly, it might have been, and they just tore it down since. But I have no form of reference in my mind, honestly. Don't know. But I don't know. It's in this area. It's either here or there. It's one or the other. But yeah, man. I tell the truth about what I've gone through because I'm comfortable with it. The Lord made it so that I'm comfortable with it. I don't think I can harm my reputation by telling the truth about the trauma that I've been through. If you own it and it's a part of your brand, so to speak, that you have a mental illness, then it stands to reason why something would stem that mental illness. And that's what stemmed in mind, I believe. Like I said, I do also think I got some chemical stuff going on too from my dad's side of the family, possibly. But you know, a lot of what makes me not want to be around people is because of what happened over here. A lot of what makes it so that I don't talk to women and, like, you know, get at her like that throughout the course of my life, try to be involved in different normal activities. It's because of what happened with Connie. It affected certain things in regards to how comfortable I feel, I guess, in that way. Not really certain, because I never really talked to a therapist about it in my life until, well, never. I never talked to a therapist about it. That's the point. I never got help for it. So it's kind of one of those things you just deal, man. It's the faith in my heart and the warmth of a household I was loving. That's key. I wasn't coming home to drinking and smoking and abuse and all that. I was coming home to a loving mom. And a lot of that was like hot and cold for me. I come over here, get tormented and molested, and then go home to a mother that kept me affectionate. So it was kind of scared by that. She was very comforting and loving. And for some reason, and I'm fortunate for this, I didn't find myself flinching in the presence of my mother because of how I was touched over here. It was like I could differentiate the whole thing. Like, it wasn't bothering me that my mom was affectionate with me in a opposite way. You know, I would sleep in the same bed with mom, stuff like that. She would hug me, all that stuff was prevalent in my life. But I'd come over here and just deal with hell. It's complete hell, man. So yeah, man, that's what it is. I don't want people to necessarily feel sorry for me. I don't feel sorry for myself. I think that what I went through built me up to be who I am today, which is somebody I'm learning to be proud of, even though I'm going through a lot. I know why I'm going through it, and it's because of what happened. It's because of what happened to me. But this Presbyterian church, it's not like Blessed Sacrament. I didn't have a lot of memories here from my childhood, because we started going here when I was like 17, 18 years old, maybe a little younger than that. So it's not as prevalent to me. I remember more so the years when I didn't go to this church and seeing it all the time and that kind of thing. It's more of that in my memories than when I did, honestly. But I enjoyed this church. Presbyterian, quiet, Caucasian type of church. You know, it wasn't necessarily what I was used to growing up in the Crenshaw district, or Maranatha being my church that we went to. Once Maranatha closed down, my mom wanted to find a church home, so she just found this one. I think it was my mom's friend, Betty, Les and Bronze's mom, who kind of told us about this church, and we visited, and we got good vibes here. Different, very different worship, but good, you know. It wasn't bad at all. I enjoyed my time going to this church for a little year or so. We went here a little longer than a year or so before we left out of this neighborhood. But yeah, man, I got so many memories and stuff like area, this viewpoint, just looking at this freeway. So many memories of seeing this freeway throughout the course of my childhood growing up. It is very much synonymous with everything I know from my childhood. All of this is very, very, very normal to look at for me, man. Nothing special at all. And this tunnel here. And the funny thing is, to be honest with you, there was never a whole lot of reasons to walk down this tunnel. I wasn't really coming down this way or coming up this way at all. Walking. To go home, you know what I mean? But not walking. I can't tell you that I've walked under this tunnel more than probably like 50 times. Probably not. You know? Because it was just one of those paths that it just wasn't necessary to walk. I was usually going back that way. So we would probably turn that way and go up that way or something like that. But, you know, that way meaning to the left of where we are, that way. And my school, if I'm not mistaken, we'll know when I get to the top of this hill, it's to the right of us ahead. I think that's how that goes. I believe this is it. Not the school itself, but it's over here. I don't remember though. We're gonna find out. I think it's to the right of us. My vibe is telling me it's to the right of us, not to the left. Gower is the street that we're on. And it's funny because I think this is the building where I ended up having two friends live in this building at the same time. My cousin Osiris, my play cousin, I call him my cousin. Ain't seen him in a while. Shout out to Osiris. Much love to my brother. Cousin, of course, but my guy there. Yeah, the school is up this way about half a block. We're about to be in front of it soon. Isn't it day? There's a rather blue building. But if you look over that way, that's where the hill was that I told y'all that I was gonna show y'all, and then ultimately had to cut it off because my phone was gonna die at some point. And I ended up panning back up the stairs. I mean, panning up at the end of the hill when I had gotten all the way up there and showed y'all the back areas where I used to live. That what do you call it? Filling station, the one that I told you my mom used to go to. It's like right down the street here. It's about just 2 blocks down there. For some reason, when I was a kid, it seemed like this is a longer distance, man. I never wanted to walk to school. But this ain't no far distance. From Cherimoya to where I lived, in the grand scheme of things, it was never no far distance. It just felt like it was much further. This is actually not even a mile and a half, really. For some reason, as a kid, I just remember these streets being longer. That's what I remember. And that's my school right there past the 76 station. The 76 station been there forever. When I say forever, it was always there. I go this way since that light ain't changing, it ain't that serious. But I think maybe this wasn't the building. I think it's the next one. This ain't the building. This is not the building. The next building is the one, I believe. I think it's this one that my boy Les, at some point, I think it was Les who lived here, or some dude, or someone else named Golden. I don't remember who lived here, but it was them, and then I found out my boy Osiris lived here too. It was like, what? You live here too? It was that kind of thing. It's either this building or this one, I think. No, it was the next one. It was directly across the street from the school. Yeah, and we never went to that 76 station. It was always very, very expensive, man. That 76 been expensive. Whatever expensive is, it was always that. But you know, back in the day, it was probably like $3. Like, oh, $3 before. Now it's probably like 10 or so. Who knows where we're at with that? Man, this is the school. I went to elementary school, Cherimoya Avenue School. That is exactly what this is, on Franklin Avenue. Franklin and Beechwood. Yeah, that's right, Beechwood. And I tell you, man, I got great memories here because this is where I was in a samba band. And I learned that I was in love with music here. And that's when I really kind of got into it and understood that I enjoy music in a different way. It was a samba band, and we used to play all different types of drums. And my homegirl, Bruns, was in the samba band, not the band, but she was in the dance group. I don't remember what they called that group, but she was in that. And so we would perform together a lot of times. Sometimes the band was as many as 50 people. When I first got started, it was like 50, 60 people. When I started, 50, 60 people in the band. When I left the band, it was only a couple of us. A lot of the kids had moved on and did other things, but that band, when it was fuller, whoo, we had so many sordo drums, a couple snares, some bongos. I learned how to play all of those. The bongos was the one that I started to learn when it was time for me to graduate, so I didn't get a chance to master that as much. But the sordo, yeah. One hand, two hands, and I graduated from that rather quickly. That's when I knew I was kind of gifted in music. Because at that point, it was like, all right, you're too advanced for the sordo. We need to put you on the snare. And that's when I started being a part of the snares. I learned the snares quickly. See, it's different now. They got a look to this place. You used to be able to walk through here, and there was a monkey bars here. And my boy Jonah, rest in peace. This is my boy Jonah. I met him. We remember one of the distinctive memories of my life is where this here bench was a monkey bars. And I remember him telling me he had won the lottery. His grandma had won the lottery. And I remember I didn't believe a word he had said. Hey, yeah, grandma won the lottery, all right. Yeah, girl, you got it. It was that kind of thing. But this is where all my memories are. Miss Pickford, Miss Atarian, you know, all of this, man. Memories galore. Playing kickball over there. It was a tetherball court back here somewhere. This is where we practice our samba band right here. In this room right here. It's the auditorium. I think they named it after a teacher who had passed away while I was here. I don't remember his name. But I remember him, and then I remember him passing of AIDS, unfortunately. This basketball court it's oblong now, but back in the day, it ran parallel. That, if I remember correctly, it ran like this. It wasn't like that, the way that it is right now. That's not how it was pointed. And where those benches are, if I'm not mistaken, there was a hill there. And those, let's see how, those are bungalows back there. There's a bathroom up there somewhere, or it used to be. It used to be bungalows, but that wall right there is a handball court, where it says Shining Stars. I don't know if you were able to see that. But that was a handball court, and they had several of them back to back. They've since gotten rid of them. And I know they had a pool here last time I was here, but it looks like they got rid of that pool too. When I came down here about 5 years ago, there was a pool, but it looks like that's gone. Oh, yeah, that wasn't long lasting. But yeah, man, this is where I was at, man. This is where I went to elementary school. It was 30 years ago, man. And I tell y'all, this place, a lot of good memories here, man. A lot of good memories. All these teachers I used to know. I don't know how many of them are still around. I think of Miss Atarian. I remember her parking her car somewhere over here the last time I saw her. She was my 3rd grade teacher. Miss Pickford, my 1st grade. No, was it kindergarten and 1st grade, I think, for Miss Pickford? Who else? Mr. Kogan was my 5th grade teacher. Miss Iwataki, my 4th grade teacher. We got some wonderful memories of Miss Iwataki's class because all of my friends were in there. And she taught us, but she more so also liked to speak to us as if we were a therapist. She would tell us all types of stories and stuff, and we were like 11-year-old kids, so we were coming into our own, listening to these stories like, what in the world? I mean, she was awesome. I really enjoyed that. And all like, so yeah, this is where a lot of good memories were. I didn't have a lot of bad memories at this school, and for whatever reason, I didn't have too many issues wanting to come to school here. That started happening when I got to Blessed Sacrament. More so started happening when I started going to Bancroft. That's when I started really having those issues. But my anxiety attacks, right here. This is when I had the real anxiety attacks. I was running into those buildings here, teachers, and to the principal, rather, telling them I'm scared my mom's gonna pass away or some weird stuff that I would be telling them, wigging out. That's when I first started really having my worst attacks, was here. So the beginning of my mental health issues happened actually here, but I didn't have attendance issues. I really didn't. And I did have some issues with not wanting to pay attention in math. This is the school they told me I had to do the 2nd grade math book over again, which I thought was some bull crap, because I had done it already in 1st grade, and they told me to do it again. But you know how it goes, or maybe you don't. But they certified me gifted here. Took a little test, and they said this kid is gifted in intellectual thinking. And you know, this is what it is. This is the place. I don't want to go into the grounds. I respect it's a school, you know. A grown man don't need to be in the school grounds, but it's about as far as I'll take it, you know what I mean? Looking in here and seeing how it goes, seeing this area here, Cherimoy Avenue, man. A lot of memories in this place, you know, a lot of good memories. Walking through here, doing the with my Sordo drum. There would be so much music blasting out of these doors here, boy, and we would sit there and play for an hour and a half, 2 hours straight. When boom, 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 and you could hear us 3-4 blocks down the road. You could hear that band. Da-da, da-da, ba-da, ba, da-da, da-da. Boy, I'm telling y'all, we would jam, y'all. Y'all have no idea how good we were. We were good, and we were playing Pasadena. We would go to different places. I remember we played at the Hollywood Bowl once. We did the Doodah Parade on Wilshire before I moved over there. We was really good, man. Yeah, man. I want to remember what the man's name was. I don't remember what his name was, though. That's bothering me, because I see his face in my head. Faster, faster. You know, like, he trained me to no end, but his name's not coming to mind. That bothers me to no end, man. But he was a Caucasian man who just adapted to Brazilian culture in such a way that he made it his life. And he brought it to this school and just started teaching it to the kids. And as I was coming into the school, they had already established the band. And since I was so musically inclined, I would be banging on the tables over there, trying to master the Sordo, the snare drum sounds. I would be banging on the tables while everybody else was playing around with each other, you know, kids doing what they were doing. I was a loner. I was trying to master the sounds I was listening to. And so somebody realized that about me. And I don't know who it was, but somebody suggested that I join the band. And when I joined the band, I excelled. I just excelled in it. And sure enough, you know, at one point I was the only snare on the band of like 30 people. You had to have a snare drum to make the fullness of the sound. I was the only one. And I could play that thing for hours. When I say hours, we had really built up some strength in our arms as little kids. We were just banging on the drum, da-da-da-da, ba-da-ba. And when you leave here, Mom would pick me up over here, get in the car. I could not hear a thing because of how long we would be banging those drums and just how repetitious it was. We would only practice on Fridays, but boy, did we practice. We would practice. And then we would have our performances, and it would be so easy to perform because we practiced so damn hard. You know, so that was something I was very proud of. That's what gave me the consistency of the workouts I do, the consistency of this channel. I learned real consistency here with that gentleman, Mr. What his name was, Mr. God, I wish it would come back to me, man, because he was such a prevalent person in my life, and I could see his face in my head. But yeah, man, I'll walk around the other side of the street so we can see it, but I just wanted to come in on this side because that's where really the memories were. It's getting picked up over here and then going to that building right there and just playing the samba band. And I'm telling you, that was years, because I'm gonna be 40 next year. This was when I was like, I started being in that band when I was like 7 or something like that. 6 years, 7 or 8. And the funny thing was, I went to watch the band play when I was smaller. because I started going to this school when I was in kindergarten. So like, I remember sitting in the auditorium on this girl's lap crying because I was so nervous about being in there for no reason whatsoever. I don't remember what the hell that was about. But this was like 2 years before I joined the band, or 3 years before I joined the band. And I just remember that distinctive memory of sitting in there crying because I was nervous for whatever strange little reason I had in my head. But yeah, man, it's so many memories of this place. Great memories of this place. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I think this was the building friends lived in. I think it was that one. You know, it's hard to remember stuff like that, but I think I'm pretty damn certain at this point that this was the building I had 2 friends that lived in, and I did not know was here. I saw him coming out of his unit while I was there to visit another friend. I was like, "You live here too?" So yeah. And not long after 2nd grade, they stopped using this as a recess center, but like this was where we had our recess sometimes. We would go out there and it was like little monkey bars and stuff like that over there back in the day. Of course, it's the entrance here. Yeah, Cherimoy Avenue, not much has changed in regards to the structure. That's still the same letters up there, still the same area. A lot of memories, man, a lot of memories. I'll take y'all around the other side. Yeah, this is it, man. This is where I went to school. Elementary school, man. Great years. Definitely learned music here. Definitely had a lot of friends that I still know to this day who went to this school. Ramon went to this school. Rest in peace to my homegirl Alexis. She just passed away last year. She was here with us. Man, Aura. There's a lot of people went here. Les. Shout out to all my friends that went to this school with me. You know, because it's a lot of them. It's a whole lot of them. And you know, you just appreciate the times. I went up here, walked up this street so many damn times. Remember, these buildings are still here. They were always there. That building's always looked like that, believe it or not. Those buildings are always it's the same structure. The whole across the street looks the same. Everything looks exact the same. Nothing's changed there. And I walked up this way, and I get picked up on a bus over here. This is where I would catch the bus. It would line up right here. How you doing, man? That bus would line up right here and take us to Children's Club. Right over here. And I sat in this area. How you doing? Sat over here on this thing every day waiting for the bus. Sometimes it would usually be here by the time we get there. And then I'd sit on this bench and wait sometimes. You can't really see it, but I used to play pogs on those areas. If you guys know what pogs are, it's like these little things, like little like plastic slammers or metal slammers. And then like it would be like cardboard made into circles, and we would slap them together and hit them a certain way, and if we won the game we would take each other's pogs. So I used to play pogs all the time in this place. See if we can see it from here. It's kind of hard to see it, but that's the area through there where I would play pogs. Can't really see it, it's kind of blurry. I didn't realize it was so blurry, but yeah, man, those benches are still there. Same benches. Can't really see them, but these are the same benches. Yeah, it's impossible to see. Very blurry, but yeah, man, the inside of that place still looks the same. The exact same benches that we 5 years ago are the same benches those kids are sitting on today, man. They did not move those benches. That's crazy to me. That is absolutely insane. But I never really walked past this street very much. After, you know, we would leave school and head back down that way every time. So this is about the threshold for where I would usually go, even though I was here for so many years. This block, rare, maybe once or twice. I think we had to, I remember going around that corner one time with the bus as it was coming back from a performance. And I also remember an anxiety attack that I had. My boy Lester helped me through that. It was 5th grade. I was already at the end of near the end of my anxiety attack phase. And I had a very bad anxiety attack when my mom, we had come back to the school after a performance. And my mom wasn't here yet. I guess she was still en route. And that's normal. Obviously, that's very normal. But for me, the way my head was wired, it really messed with me. Like, I just was having a problem with that. And so that's what I remember is that anxiety attack. But yeah, man, that's what it is, man. So he was able to kind of walk me down off of that, like really walk me down. Yo, mom is on the way. Because there was no cell phones back then, so there wasn't no way I could call her, you know, nothing like that. I know this is before the cell phone era. So, like, for me, it was like, okay, I don't know where mommy's at. And I just started feeling that stomach in my head at the same time. It was a lot, man. But, you know, it is what it is, man. Same steps. Same steps. Nothing changed. It's a little different in there, but, you know, it was good. It's really good being back here, man. I don't want to go in, of course, because, you know, you got to respect the school grounds. You're grown, man. Plus, you're holding a camera. People don't know if you're taking pictures of their kids. It's weirdos out here. In fact, there was a weirdo around here during the years I was here. This dude walked around in a trench coat exposing himself to the kids, man. And they used to tell us about this dude. He was walking around here for a while, too, before they caught him. At least a whole semester he was running around here doing that. I don't think I ever actually saw him. But that's what he was doing. He would run around here with a trench coat on and flash kids. Weirdo. Well, yeah, tell y'all, man, a lot of memories of this place. I spent all of my kindergarten all the way through 5th grade here. So, you know, as a child, I feel like 100 years. For real, but yeah, sat here a lot of times. In this area many times. Waiting for whoever, you know, random stuff. I sold candy bars. You know, they did a little candy bar, they put the kids to work, you know, and then say, oh, you can get, like, if you sell $1,000 worth of candy bars, you can get like a trip to McDonald's in a limo. So that's exactly what it was. I won the trip to McDonald's in a limo with like 3 other people, and I think this is where the limo picked me up, right? In my little suit, picked us up and took us to McDonald's. And I sold like God knows how many bars of candy. And the way I was able to do that is my mom worked at a radio station, KFWB. So what I would do was just go in there, leave her with the candy bars, and from there, she would just sell them. She was so well liked and everybody knew my mom. She was such a popular person there. And she would just tell everybody throughout the course of a month that her son was selling candy bars and did you want to buy them? And people would just buy the candy bars up in that place. So I didn't have to really sell anything, okay? I was cheap. I gave it, my mom was selling that stuff. And then we would buy some too. That's another thing. She would buy like a couple bars a week, that kind of thing. She was really determined to win. And we won 2 years in a row. Cheat code, man. Absolute cheat code. Complete cheat code, man. Because those people were rich in there, man. We would sell them to like DJs, you know what I'm saying? And she knew, and the funny thing was that she would go back and forth. At one point, if I'm not mistaken, she would go back and forth between the Wave, KTTV, and then KFWB. So she was able to sell them in both places, I think. We would never lose, man. We would never lose. And people would buy the candy bar left and right, no problem. So kind of walk down this way because my favorite Mayfair market, I don't know if it's still called Mayfair, I don't think so, but we would go here to grocery shop all of the tenure of my young years. I would go there to grocery shop. Just a little perspective of this school here from this area. Yeah, man, look at these palm trees, by the way. You know you in Hollywood. Don't get it twisted. Just because I don't think nothing of these palm trees does not mean that they're not very prevalent with this area. I just grew up seeing them so much that it doesn't move me to see palm trees at all. I am not moved by palm trees in any way growing up in this area. But, you know, I walk down the street a lot of times with my mom, Franklin Village. You know, I could walk all the way down, all around this area and feel very comfortable because this is where I'm from. Predominantly Caucasian area, still is. And it was nice over here. That Scientology building still across the street. It ain't changed, same thing. This building I'm in front of right here, same thing, never changed. You know, some stuff just still looks the same. And that Scientology building is definitely the same. It does not change at all. And the Daily Planet, wow, this thing is still here. Most of these newsstands, but nah, that one is still exactly the same way it was when I was a child. This is the same perspective that I used to see when we would go to the laundromat over here. I don't know if it's still there, but see all of this, man, perspective, you know? All of this stuff that I seen as a child, going up here and stuff. Yeah, it still looks the same. I don't remember if this was red or not, but I know it was here. I know that for a fact. Coffee bar. Which way you want? This guy jogging past me. I always try to figure out which way they're going well before they get to me. Sushi stop. I know there used to be a GameStop. You can't tell me that there used to be a GameStop. There had to be a GameStop. With the font, hell yeah, it had to be a GameStop. And yeah, man, little hangout spot. You know, for rather Hollywood types and ritzy stuff. They usually have them go to the bar around here, that kind of thing. Not really my vibe at any point in time in my life. We kind of just skip right past this and go to what used to be Mayfair. It's now Gelson's, but it's Mayfair. That's what we know it is, Mayfair. I used to go here all the time with my mom. This was the only grocery store in the neighborhood, so that's where we went. And we'd go in there and get everything we had to get here. And then the laundromat used to be over here where the cleaners is. I'm walking right past it.
Okay, great.
For you guys to kind of see what I used to kind of see. I remember I did laundry with Drew Barrymore here. I swear on everything I love, Drew Barrymore was just normal, regular, and she sat out here with me and my mom and talked for a good 10-15 minutes while she and mom and I did laundry. I kid you not. She'd come right here where this tail washers is. That used to be a laundromat. And we would go in there and do our laundry every once in a while. I don't know why we stopped going to the other one that burnt down that I showed y'all last week, but we started going to this one for some reason instead. And sure enough, Drew Barrymore was right there sitting outside of those double doors like she was a regular person one random Saturday. And she just talked to us like she knew us for years, very comfortable talking to mom and I. It was just surreal, man. Regular person, I'm telling you she was regular. Wonder if she remembers that. Probably not. I barely do. But this is where it was, man. Let's come through here. I remember this is the market that Madonna held me as a baby. I kid you not, this actually happened. She held me in here. We saw Madonna, and my mom handed me to Madonna in this Gelson's, which used to be Mayfair. And sure enough, that's one of the things I definitely do not remember, but it was a story I was told. It was a story I was told, not necessarily what I remember. But yeah, that's what happened. One of these lines inside of there. When we stand in line and she just grabbed me and kind of bounced me around, you know, that kind of thing from what my mama told me. Very, very interesting stuff, man. I remember I saw Uncle Phil here. Uncle Phil, William Avery, rest in peace. I think his name was William, definitely Mr. Avery. He came out of here on the other side, opposite side. As we were coming out, he was going in. He flashed us this big old smile. Never forgot that. And that was like during the height of the show. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like during the height of the show, we actually met him over here. Real cool guy. In passing, of course, I didn't get a chance to really talk to him. I was only like 11 years old, 10 years old, something like that. But yeah, we came here all the time. This parking lot is very prevalent to myself and my mother. We would park in these little spots all the time, go into this Mayfair market, which is now Gelson's, of course. And this was our market from the time I was a little kid all the way up until we left here. It's exactly where we went, you know, to get all of our groceries. It's our neighborhood grocery store. Very, very prevalent for my childhood. And I still remembered all of this to this second, walking down these streets. I don't know how much recording space I still have because I've still got the other one uploading. But I just want to kind of show you guys where I'm from a little further. Give you the other side of Hollywood, you know, the side that I didn't show you in the last video. And just kind of get back to my stomping grounds. I remember coming over here a couple times, you know, nothing too serious. Not quite sure what memories I have, but it's just in general remembering this area, you know. And then we walk all the way down, and I'll probably turn it off here, somewhere around here, but I'll show y'all where my neighborhood ice cream places were, because there was 2 ice cream places we go to. They were across the street from one another. It was Thrifty and it was 21 Flavors. We went to 21 flavors, so we found that we like Thrifty's ice cream better. Now, of course, now I'm lactose intolerant, so there'll be no reminiscing in that way. But let me tell you, ice cream was my thing as a little kid. And I fluctuated between which ones I liked. First, it was vanilla. Then I skipped off to mint and chip. And it was chocolate chip. Then it was chocolate melted crunch. My mom liked Rocky Road and butter pecan. Those are the only two she really liked. She didn't mess with nothing else. But my favorites fluctuated from just different eras in my life. I just tried different stuff and then stick with it for a while and move on from it. But I can still taste all of that ice cream in my mouth right now. Can't eat it no more. But boy, did we go there a lot. That's how I got as fat as I did, man. We did not have any discipline in regards to our food, man. We just didn't at all care nothing about how food affected the body. It just, we eat bad, sit and play video games. Exercise? What the hell is exercise? I didn't start exercising at all until I was like 16 years old when I decided I wanted to start exercising. Man, dressing up for PE? What? I had to run? Are you kidding me? Run? For fun? Yeah, right. Like, that's how my mentality was. There was no way I was dressing up for PE. Athleticism? What athleticism? I don't know what the hell that is. I didn't even start watching basketball till I was 9. You know what I'm saying? That's how real it was for me in terms of being unhealthy as a child. It was just like, health was like something that you did over there. You didn't do that over here with us. We ate what we wanted to eat. I'm going to Taco Bell. I'm getting 5 hard shell tacos, or 4, usually 4, until I realized I wanted a burrito with it. So I would get a burrito and then 3 hard shell tacos. Supreme had to have the sour cream on it. See what I'm saying? Like, I grew up loving things I can no longer eat. It is the most torturous thing in the world. Sour cream is something that I love as much as anything in the world. And I tell you, sour cream is bad for me. Can't have it no more. Just can't have it. Ice cream, can't have it. Milk, chocolate milk, cherimoya, they would have chocolate milk every Friday. It was what we looked forward to, even though we would have to eat chalupas, which wasn't my favorite thing until later on I actually started to like it. But chocolate milk was what it was really about. Chocolate milk. Can't drink no damn chocolate milk. Not anymore. All these buildings, man, still the same, still structured the same. Of course, you would imagine that because these places look old. But this has always been the color it is now. You know, we're walking past Wilton and Wilcox. And, yeah, man, I'm about a couple blocks away from my neighborhood Thrifty, which is, of course, now a Rite Aid, unless they've gotten rid of it. And then Beechwood and Griffith Park is back up that away, the direction I just pointed y'all. And what we would do is go to Griffith Park all the time. And through that Griffith Park area, we'd pass that up, and then we could go to Glendale and Burbank. And we would often go there for various different things. Like, for example, Burbank is where we would go, if I'm not mistaken, to the Toys R Us. And then Glendale is where we would go, if I'm not mistaken, to the Target. So it was like, there's a lot of stuff that we used to do as a little kid, which is prevalent. If we go to the Burbank airport, of course, we would take that same pass up through that away toward past Griffith Park and through Burbank. So it was like just certain paths that I would remember taking as a child. It just kind of came with the understanding of this neighborhood. Now, how far down that is a little far. So what I'm gonna do is turn this off and click it back on when we get to my neighborhood Thrifties, and also known as Rite Aid now. And then from there, we'll see where we are with the recording. So thank you guys for rocking with BDF 44. I'm out.